Well, welcome everybody. Come on in. Today's going to be our very first Throwback Thursday. Today, you're going to hear a story about how Kia and I met for the very first time. Hey everybody.
Hi everyone.
So today's our very first Throwback Thursday, and what we decided to do is basically have a time throughout the week where we share our fertility and infertility journey, which also meshes into our marriage. And so that's basically been a big part of our marriage. And so to kind of understand everything that we've gone through, we've decided to go all the way back and start at the beginning of our relationship. And so that when we do talk about how we handled certain things, you'll kind of hopefully understand the backstory of that, because you'll know how we met and what our relationship looked like prior to the infertility stuff. So basically, let's see, we have been married now it's going on 9 years.
Yep.
We've been together as a couple for going on 13 years.
It has been 13 years.
It will be 13 years. It'll be 13 years. We had to do the math. It'll be 13 years that we've been a couple at the end of this year. And so basically, our journey together starts way back when we were both real young. And I knew a kid named Ryan, and you've probably seen him in some of the vlogs. And Ryan was my best friend growing up. We skateboarded together, we played video games together, we slept over at each other's houses, we did all the typical stuff. And so him and I were pretty much inseparable growing up. We were childhood best friends.
Yeah, and also about an hour away, Catherine, who is my best friend, and I also grew up as childhood best friends. And Catherine happened to know Ryan and through a camp, and I met Ryan, and we kind of just knew of each other. And then fast forward to when I was about 12 years old, there was a camp, the same camp, but the week that the camp was, my family was going on vacation, and so I wasn't able to go, and that just happened to be the year that Ryan took Jeremy.
Yeah, so Ryan invited me to this camp, and I went there, and he knew Catherine, and so they were good friends, and so he introduced me to Catherine, and then so Catherine and I became friends. Again, she lives an hour away from where we lived, and so a lot of that was just either on the computer talking or over the phone. And then one day, Catherine went over to her best friend Kia's house and said, "Hey, here's this guy I want you to know, Jeremy."
So after that camp got over, Catherine had come over to my house after I got back from vacation, and she was just talking to me about the week and everything, and she had mentioned about hanging out with Ryan and Jeremy. And my family had recently gotten the World Wide Web, and I was 12, and she put his name on my buddy list so that we could talk to him while she was over at my house. And so we had our first conversation. I had my first conversation with Jeremy on AIM or Instant Messenger, whatever you want to call it, with Catherine. She was there, and we were both talking to him.
So we technically met
online
through friends, but we did our first interaction together was through the internet.
Yeah, and that was when I was 12 and he was 14.
Yeah, this is prior to 2000. This is the old millennial.
The old
millennials.
But it was that very first conversation. I knew that there was something different about him.
At 12.
At 12, I knew there was something different about him, and I knew that he was the one I was going to marry. I don't know how, and it probably was very weird because I was 12, but I just knew it. I knew that I had found the one my soul loved.
Yeah, it took me a little bit longer to figure it out the other way around, and but this girl has been very patient with me prior to dating, and through marriage. She has just shown an abundance of patience, which I'm very grateful for. So yep, go ahead.
We had spent the first 3 years just mainly talking online. I was very, very shy as a kid, and I'm still introverted, but I was very shy. And so whenever I would be with Catherine, it would be one of those things where I'd be like, oh, let's call Jeremy and talk to him. But I wouldn't talk to him. I was way too shy to say anything on the phone.
Those are awkward conversations. And this is prior to, unlimited, long distance
phone call.
You did the 1010 220, or either way, your parents were getting mad that you were talking on the phone because of long distance.
And so mainly that would be me just like listening to his voice so that my heart could beat faster while Catherine talked to him. But...
Yes, very awkward just to have a girl laughing while you're trying to talk.
I agree.
Yes. Much has changed in our relationship now. She does talk to me now, so that helps. So yeah, we spent about 3 years talking online, and at least for me, I'm pretty sure for both of us, like we would have this friends list of I don't know how many, and then after so many months or a year or so, it kind of like winnowed down, and we would come up with new screen names that only the other one knew, so we were the only ones talking to each other. And so through time, God kind of just brought us closer together and closer together. And then finally, December of 2003, right?
Yep.
2003, December, Ryan and I went up to, by this time, he's dating Catherine. My best friend is dating her best friend. And we went up there for a New Year's youth group party, something like that. Mm-hmm. And we were not dating at this time.
Nope.
This was the first time we were going to meet in person. So 3 years talking online, and we're finally going to meet in person. And we met at the outlet where she lives. And I remember walking around the corner, and for the very first time, I would see my future wife. And I remember walking around the corner and seeing her, and what a special moment that was. And it's just ingrained in my brain. Now, I didn't know, obviously, she was going to be my future wife at that time. I did not. I had a lot more maturing and growing up to do. But that's a very special moment for me. I remember that.
Yeah. And after that, our very first time together was really interesting because we were with each other for a solid 24 hours.
Yeah, pretty much a whole day.
And so, like, overnight, because the party that we were at was an overnighter, and so, like, we stayed up all night together, and obviously we were not alone. We were with our youth group. But the very first thing we did was we went bowling with Ryan and Catherine. And so Catherine rode in the car with Ryan, and for the very first time I got in the car with Jeremy, like seconds after meeting him face to face, and he had some dance moves in the car.
I was very big into classic rock at the time, and so let's just say Bohemian Rhapsody, Wayne's World style. Yeah. Right? Okay. And I was who I was, and I was not ashamed of it. I'm ashamed now. Not then.
I just laughed a lot, and it was just a fun time, and
yeah.
We went and saw a movie together.
Cheaper by the Dozen?
Cheaper by the Dozen.
Our first movie together was Cheaper by the Dozen.
So after that first time of meeting, we had our first kiss that night, and that was my first kiss too. Yeah. So that was pretty exciting for me. And so of course that just confirmed even more for me that he was the one that I wanted to be with. But it still took a little bit for him to come around to that because of the long distance mainly. And so we spent the next year casually dating. So we weren't official, but we would go out on dates.
We were becoming friends in person.
Yeah.
And that was kind of important. We had become friends, I guess, emotionally through the internet as much as you can be.
Yeah.
Now we were just becoming friends and interacting with one another. One day I would come up on a Friday after work, and one day we went out to McDonald's.
Yep.
And
he fell asleep on me. He just laid down on the, what is that called? The
little table?
He didn't
the
sleep.
The seat?
Booth.
The booth.
The booth. He just laid down on the booth, and he just fell asleep, and I didn't know what to do being so shy, and I was trying to impress him still, so it was like, what do I do? So I just sat there. I think I sat there for 45 minutes while he slept.
I don't think it was that long.
It was long. It was long. I think we were waiting for the movie that we were going to go see to start, and he just slept.
Oh, man. Yeah, not much has changed.
That must have been a real good date.
We probably weren't talking a whole lot.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyways.
Now it's my fault that he's so
No, I had worked a long day. I had driven a long way home. filled my belly, and I told you. All right, look, I make no
It's
qualms.
okay.
I make no qualms about this.
I mean, at that time,
I had a lot of maturing and a lot of growing up to do.
you would have been like either 16 or 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I had a lot to learn and a lot to grow. That's okay.
That's okay.
Life is about growing up. That's what you do, is you grow up.
He gave me this bracelet, and I think it must have been the time like right before you asked me to start to go out. But anyways, he'd given me, he'd taken a straw and he made it into a bracelet, a McDonald's straw, and he said, he basically like, will you McDonald's marry me? And just kind of being silly. And so I ended up wearing that bracelet, I think for 2 years. I have it in a scrapbook.
You taped it and stapled it.
I ended up stapling it together so that it would stay together, and I wore it all the time.
Yeah, she did. Pretty amazing. Those
I
straws
was McDonald's married.
those straws are resilient.
I didn't ever take it off. Like in the shower, I kept it on. If I went swimming, I kept it on. It was on my wrist for 2 years, and then by that time we had been dating, and I think you gave me something a little bit more,
a promise ring,
a more meaningful for me to take off.
Maybe. Yeah. So anyways, so we hung out for that year, and then December 5th, 2004, I had graduated high school by this time, and
I was in 11th grade.
Yeah, it was a Sunday afternoon, and it was right after church. I was supposed to go somewhere with some of my friends, and I was trying to get some details from them, and they said they weren't getting back to me. They didn't let me know what was going on, so I said, you know what, forget it. I'm going to go up to where Kia is. I'm going to take that drive, and you know what? I'm going to ask her out. So I went down to our local convenience store and picked up a nice plasticky rose with a bear on it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I
still have it.
I did the hour drive. I presented her with a rose, and I said, Kia, my darling. No, I didn't say that. I said, Kia, will you be my girlfriend?
Oh, you said, I'd like to make it official.
I would like to make it official.
That you are my girlfriend.
So there you are. I didn't even ask her. I told her.
You told me.
Rose! And then...
because by that time we had been hanging out a lot more frequently, and it was kind of, I mean, we were dating without the title, so...
Right. So...
It was just, we were waiting for the title.
That's that.
So that's how we became a couple, and we will soon...
We will Soonie this video up. Soonie. Stay tuned for next week, where we will throw back again.
Okay, hold on, I'm laughing. So that's our story of how we met and started dating. Why are you dead facing the camera?
Thanks for joining us. See you next Thursday.
Okay. And so that's our... And so that's our... What were you doing?
You're not getting through this. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. Kia is losing it right now. Thanks for joining us on this first Throwback Thursday. If you want to know anything more in depth that we already talked about, or you have any questions about anything we talked about, put those in the comments below. Make sure you give us a thumbs up if you like this, and subscribe if you would like to. Good? Okay. If you want to know, want to be notified, click that little bell. If you want to know when we post more Throwback Thursdays or any other videos, tomorrow will be another family vlog day, so check that out. And we'll see you guys next week, or hopefully tomorrow.
Bye.
See ya.